Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nautical Twang. And today I'm your boy Dougie, and I'm joined here by some lovely people. But before we get into the conversation, let's just find out what is happening today with Shads. Shads, what's up?
I'm here living my best life, coming off of the long weekend. It was a great long weekend. It wasn't the best weather, but can't complain. I was outdoors, and now I'm just back in my 9 to 5 grind.
All right. All right.
Bills.
Can't say that. I can't say that. All right. So today I'm super excited because the topic that we're going to go into is near and dear to me. So before I go into anything, I just want to preface the conversation by saying that less than a week ago, Jamaica had their local government elections, or general elections rather, where the political party that was successful in getting the most seats just happened to be the Jamaica Labour Party. Now, for anyone who doesn't know a lot about Jamaican politics, Jamaica is a constitutional monarchy located in the British West Indies, and it is bipartisan, with two major parties being the PNP, which is the People's National Party, which happens to be the oldest, and the Jamaica Labour Party, which is a secondary party that is a derivative of the PNP. Now, with the most recent elections, there has been varied views on why the results were the way they were and what can be done to make sure that future elections are not the way that this current election was. So, on my panel today are two people who are Jamaicans living in Jamaica who were able to possibly exercise their right to franchise this year. Now, I have Shauna K and I have Ali, but I will go with the introduction of Shauna K first. Now, Shauna K, tell us about yourself and why you're on the podcast today.
All right, hi guys. So I'm Shauna K. I'm from Constant Spring, Jamaica. So I'm on the panel today to represent the Shower team, which is Jamaica Labour Party. Let's see how this goes with the discussions.
Cool. Thank you so much for being here, Shanake. And we have the girl from Vineyard Town who is brown and ever round. Ali, big up yourself now.
Yes, and forever. And just as you said, being a town, you know what I support: power, always and forevermore. So yeah, I hope we have a nice heated discussion today.
I can't bother with you. So much energy and so much fun to come. But we'll be right back after this break.
Everything sweeter with Lisa. Everything sweeter with Lisa. Everything sweeter with
Okay, so we're back and we are at the top of the episode and we are going to go into first questions. Now, guys, with the most recent election, and I'm sorry, women, with the most recent elections in Jamaica, we saw what was possibly Jamaica's lowest voter turnout outside of the 2016 elections and I think the 1982 election. I could be wrong, when the People's National Party decided not to contest or to boycott the elections. Now, coming out of that and seeing the numbers, seeing the results of the election numerically, and the state or the political climate in Jamaica right now, how do you feel post-election? And I want to start with Shauna.
All right, great. Let's see how I feel with the low turnout. It's I don't really feel any way towards it, and I thought it would be lower because the whole COVID-19 breakout. It was okay for me. Seeing that I was a presiding officer in Andrew's constituency, to be honest, down there at my polling station, it was 335 persons on the list and only 120 persons came out. So that's really, really low. But to be honest, them never really afraid of COVID, to be honest, down there. So them never afraid. The police them afraid tell them say, listen, whatever they catch here so, we're not gonna bring it back home. So just social distance and all of this and all of that. Although the sun upon them, the people them just like gather and them not care. And then after that, it just calmed down and people just glad say whoever them vote for win. And I think they felt better that you never really have much violence surrounding this election. So to me just happy say the violence really, and people just come out do what them for do and got them yard. Yeah.
You know, no, I love your answer, Shauna. I actually touched on two things that I associate with Jamaican elections, right? Low voter turnout, which I think based on the numbers you gave, that was about half. And you also spoke about violence, which is like a part and parcel of Caribbean elections. Jamaica just happens to be one of those Caribbean islands that's known for violence around election time. I remember growing up, it was kind of rough around election
Mhm.
time. So, like my family would kind of stay in, they wouldn't necessarily preserve their right to franchise, so they wouldn't necessarily vote. So I'm glad that this particular election was actually very, very, very safe. But with the low voter turnout, though, was it mostly old people? Was it mostly young people? Was it a mixture? What was it like?
All right. I can only speak to that constituency. It was a mixture because
Hmm.
may I tell you the truth, you have some old people who come and then decide to them now go home back until them vote or if them name not on the list. And but it's a mixture, but then the ratio was like young people just a little bit like them have a little bit of edge over the old people them in numbers.
Okay. Thanks for that. And the fact that you were on the ground, you were able to give numbers, so I love that. Now I'm going to go to Ali in Vineyard Town. Now, Ali, um, you already you didn't highlight your political affiliation, but you spoke about it, right? You kind of like alluded to it. So tell us about what was the political climate. What was it like prior to elections, on election day, and after elections for a community like Vineyard Town in Jamaica?
Surprisingly, the week of elections, everywhere was kind of closed down early. The roads were empty. Business was closed. I closed my business on election day. Um, and the night before, there was some gunshots. It sounded near, say, would have been like from Nannyville or some part of Mountain View. So that kind of said, is it gonna be different when I wake up on election day? They're going to start block roads, da da da. But when I went to my polling station, surprisingly, there were a lot of older people there, and it was a quick and fast. It wasn't a long thing like what I saw on the news. Nothing
Hmm.
like that. Businesses were closed the next day because of the anticipation of how, especially Mountain View and Vineyard Town, because where I live, this is a PMP area, and right across the road is JLP, so it's kind of tense here. So yeah, but everything runs smooth. So yeah, it's not like before when I was younger growing up here. So it was
You
nicer
remember that where
this time.
house used to
I was
burn
just
down and
about
them
to
things
say,
there?
yeah, I was just about to say, it's like it's definitely
Yeah.
refreshing hearing that this year's election is a stark contrast from past because I remember growing up and it was ridiculous. It was absolute nightmare of
You couldn't even buy color shirt. You couldn't even buy certain shirts. Like
the
that was
color
not a thing.
shirts. Like I remember back in high school, like you couldn't wear your house color pin if it was linked to one of the parties. Good luck leaving your house because you might get caught in the crossfires of people not happy with how the votes turned out or who are supporting who. So I mean that's awesome that Jamaica has been making those positive strides to treat elections in a mature way and not have to kill people over it.
Jesus, that's strong. You kill people over it. But
What did I lie?
no, you didn't. But Ali, I know that, me, I gotta talk truth. Like, had it been my political party and I was in Jamaica and I was a part of the electoral process, I would have been possibly devastated because I know post elections, or even, there was this callaloo and carrot analogy that came out when the map of Jamaica was shown. And for people who are not from the Caribbean, callaloo is a green vegetable that we, in Trinidad, they make it into something like a soup. In Jamaica, it's like green, so it looks like collard greens, or it looks like spinach. That's the best analogy or picture of what callaloo is, that we can give to you. So they basically gave you a sea of green with little specks of orange. Now, how do you feel post elections, Ali? Like, how do you feel about your party not being as successful as they were supposed to be? And um, what do you think was the cause of that, per se?
I kind of did feel it. It was disappointing to watch, especially with how many seats we lost. But I think JP has been doing good, like some good, the last couple of years. But the COVID, I'm not gonna tell a lie. The COVID kind of give them a boost. I'm not going to tell a lie. The
I
COVID
agree with you, Ali.
that that give them a boost. I'm not going to tell a lie. What was happening with my party is the in-house conflict with
Mm-hmm.
the cussing and fussing. From I see that, I was like, yo, this not look right. It's not gonna work out for it. So yeah, I did kind of feel say I was gonna lose, but not to lose so many seats. And because some of the seats that they call safe seats, they'll never push hard, and I think that's why they lost those seats.
Hmm. You said something about safe seats, and I feel like in Jamaica, like my mom and other family members have always joked about political strongholds. If I were to put a goat or a cow or a dog in a political stronghold, they're going to win because you're not voting for the person, you're voting for your party. Do you feel that within this election that your political party may have felt that there wasn't a need to push within strongholds?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of did things a little too delayed. That
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
But around where I am,
Okay.
it was they kind of pushing for people to get like get on the voters, get your voters ID. They were keeping up with it. Well, where I am, 'cause it's PMP run from our born and go. It's just
Right.
PMP right here. So, but to see how close it is, and know say in that car it kind of jumped ship and PMP and whatever, and how close it was. I was like, you see, but I just got that Julian got back his seat, and that's the one thing I did feel good about. After I see that, I just turned off TV. I couldn't watch no more.
What, Kari?
No, just that
Oh.
Julian got back but the way they closed is like it was never nerve wracking. Like I know so they don't lose, but man, I said, Jano, if this gone, something wrong. Something is wrong.
You know what was surprising to me was Lisa's seat, because I think she won by
Yes.
14 votes. That was a concern to me because it was her constituency. But, after going on social media, reading articles, like people from her constituency were kind of speaking out. I don't want to get into that on this episode, but apparently, I don't have a song that speak about a social media kind of girl. And maybe she was just in it for the gram. um
I'm
but
not going to lie, like I've had PMP women that have said she not really know nothing because she don't want to get a girl. She don't know hard life, so she not gonna really get my vote. And this is people from her party, like them saying that because she not grow like them. She can't hit
ah
them. Yeah, she used to the golden
which
spoon in her
which is
mouth. So
which is actually, I think, in representational politics in Jamaica. I overheard someone saying today that representational politics in Jamaica seems to be different than anywhere else in the world, where people expect you to show up at christenings, baby shower, funeral, night, everything. Them just expect people to show up every single place, and maybe that was just not something that Lisa was into. um so maybe that was what wasn't working with Lisa as it pertains to representational politics. But Shauna,
Mm?
part of things them, how did your particular member of parliament um garner votes, and what was the connection like? Because I know that people have always said that the PNP is the people's party, where they go around in communities and they have one-on-one conversations. What was the reception like to the JLP this year, and what were they doing differently that they weren't doing before?
All right, so it's which part me live, Kansas Spring, Kingston 8, a Samuda area. From a born till now, that man don't lose that seat. So, and the
For
way
people
I
don't know,
thing
that's Carl
is,
Samuda, right?
yeah, Carl Samuda. And the thing is,
Perfect.
can I tell you the truth? Me never yet meet that man. Never.
Ah,
Thanks
But
for the honesty.
he, like, him counsel, the counsel them and so them will work on his behalf. All right, then him old, maybe you can give him a little, but him need for move now, right? All right, next thing is it the PNP person? Are the same thing we can say. Coincidentally, the day that I voted, because I had to vote 3 days before the actual election, right?
mm-hmm.
And after me place my ex now, then me come home, guess who me see
Carl Samuda.
just park up on the roadside? No, the PMP MP, and I'm like, oh wow. So the first time me meet you when me place my ex already. That don't make no sense. You get a message.
So would that have even changed your vote now? Would you have vote? Would you have put the X beside the head?
Head.
The head?
No, to be honest, no, because even though from a longer time, if I always have it in my head, say, if JLP not do them work, me just not go vote none at all. But me give the, word of mouth, okay, PNP, kudos to you, but me not place my ex beside no it. I'm so sorry. To be
That's
honest.
interesting. That is quite interesting because it actually segues into my second question, Shauna.
I'm going to say something very not probably appropriate for young children, but I'm going to behave myself.
So my question is, it's segueing into my second question, and we're going to discuss this within my second question. I know that I grew up in a family that was not politically affiliated with anyone, so they weren't comrades and they weren't showers, but thing and thing happen, people have them decisions to make. Now, something I find in Jamaica is that when it comes to election, we dress up dog, we dress up donkey, we dress up puss, we spray them orange, we spray them gray, we sell the bag juice, we give out the beer, we give them liquor, beer things, beer color things are going, right? Right, right. And for the Canadian folks, basically what I'm saying that when we have elections in Jamaica, based on your political party, what happens is that people don themselves in whatever color apparel represents their party. So if it's the People's National Party, it's orange or red. If it's the Jamaica Labour Party, it's green.
It's almost like a sporting event. It's like you're repping your favorite sport team. That's what it feels like you're wearing those colors. So if you're like a Liverpool fan and I guess they're the same color, and a Man U fan, that's how intense it is.
True. Except we like to dress up animals. And that's like a huge thing in Jamaica. But Shauna, speaking about this, did you grow up in a particular household where you were indoctrinated or you were told that this is how we vote and we only vote this way, and we don't necessarily vote for a party or we don't necessarily vote for a candidate, but we're voting for a party? So even if my candidate isn't ish, I'm going to vote for my party regardless, or if I'm not supportive of my party, I'm not going to vote. So were you indoctrinated, or did you become a Labourite later on in life?
No, all right. So, really and truly, my father not a vote, so him not have no say. My mother, she not push nothing upon nobody in the household. What she make you do is, me used to live for news and read newspaper, and then from this me just drift over to the green side, to be honest. But yeah, she never force anything because my brother did vote for PNP and jump road in a PNP colors one time. Then time we live at Portmore. So yeah, we not grew up in a stronghold family thing there. No.
So there was no decision or discussion around, because I know people have said, my granny a PMP, my mother a PMP, my father a PMP,
No, sir.
that me a vote, or my granny a Labour right, my grandfather a Labour right, everybody a Labour right, me a vote Labour right. Because I know that's like usually the
The
conversations that
thing.
we have around politics in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But Ali, Vineyard Town you come from, and we know that's a stronghold, right? So
Mm.
were you indoctrinated, or did you form your own political mindset or decisions, you know, on your own as an adult or as a teenager, or was it something that you just had to do because you come from a comrade house, you have to be a comrade?
No, no, it's not indoctrinated. Funnily, growing up, my family was really close with the Manly, so that's the only party I knew of. Most of my childhood generation is when I go, like when I came to primary school. Now it kind of like you hear the other side, so that's when I kind of look into things. But me being around my family, and when you're hearing certain things and growing a certain way, you're like, I like how them this policy, how this go for the things that I believe in more than the JLP. Knowing that not that they don't make any good decisions, but it's more on the orange side for me, being an older
Okay.
person now.
Okay.
But my family
Okay.
is PMP.
Mm. So based on what you've said just now, I'm getting that, okay, because I like to talk about Jamaican politics. I like to speak of Jamaican politics as if it's a family business, because the founder of the PNP wasn't necessarily Michael Manley, but um, but he was the first leader, and then his cousin, who was William Alexander Sharpe, or Bustamante, was a cousin who started the Jamaica Labour Party. So based on the interaction that you've said with the Manleys, because I know your family aesthetic, so I know that them kind of look like the Manleys. So I can see how that like little uptown vibe or that little middle class vibe kind of clash, and they work together, and yeah, and that would make sense. So that definitely influences your vote, right?
Yeah.
But I always joke about you being the brownest comrade I know.
Stop your noise. Don't ever get
I
dirty.
swear to God, no, no, like, because growing up, I was told that, the People's Party was the People's National Party, and everybody in the People's National Party look like me, like them dark skin, Portia Simpson Miller, and, the whole list of people that goes on within representational politics in Jamaica for the People's National Party. They were darker skinned people. And then when you looked at the Jamaica Labour Party, it was Team Light Skin. So, like, every time I think of Ali, the comrade, I always like, yo, she brown for your comrades, fam. It's
We're
like,
the
I
comrade from
understand that.
St. Elizabeth. We're the lighter skin cousins.
But Dougie, say right, because remember, they did have this like a stigma thing about black scandal bag and white scandal bag thing
Oh
in
my
our
God, that was
parliament.
so
Yeah.
true.
Mm.
Oh God. Mm. So they did
That
really
was
have
true.
like a type for real.
Mm.
That's what I always thought. That's legitimately what I always thought. But Ali's here to prove to people that comrades don't have a look, like how Jamaicans don't have a look. Who is laughing? Why people
Oh
laughing?
God.
It's true. It's true, because I think growing up, because when I was growing up, the People's National Party was in power for about 18 years, right? That's the only
Mm.
party I knew as a ruling party. And then, I don't know, like for me, it was just not cutting it. And I wasn't close to the Manleys. And my last name is Douglas. So hint, hint, Ali, you know the people in your party who named Douglas, right? And your friend is family, right? And it just never connected to me. I think either my mom's wedding or somebody in my family's wedding was actually at that person's house. Point blank, period. And I was just not affiliated with the party. I don't know how, but I was just not affiliated with the party. I just wasn't feeling it. Maybe because of my 18 years, I just didn't feel it. But I'm glad that we were able to have this particular discussion and we got to see the sides of how voting works, right? And how indoctrination works. But Shauna,
Mhm.
before we go to the next break, I just need to know when you have children, if you have children, will you be allowing them the right to vote? Well, not the right to vote, but will you be allowing them the right to choose? Um, who like your mom did, or is it a case where you said, "Well, son, you see, Team Bro got to do such an awesome job during COVID-19 that, we're just ever grateful and we're going to continue to vote for the green people because that's what we need to do to keep ourselves safe and sane." Or are you going to allow him to make to do the same thing that your mom did to you?
No man, him can choose on him own. Yeah. Because even now, like, even if my friends or coworkers will be like, "Man, now go vote." I'll be like, "No, listen, hear me. I don't care what party you vote for. Just go exercise your right." So if I'm my child, yeah, I gonna give them the freedom, man.
And Ali, you actually have a child. Will you be team power and the little youth, or will you be allowing him um the right to choose?
Him as a sellout. Cause him say greenhouse him like cause he was in greenhouse in at his other school. So he's like, "Where I try?" Me I said, "Jano, Izzy, I understand where you come from, but yeah, move like a little sellout. But obviously, it's his right to
Yeah,
vote.
yeah, good.
But him have couple more years. Him have couple more years. It's up to him. It's his decision."
Okay, hopefully in a couple more years he attends school here and his vote will be either liberal or conservative, whichever. But thanks for that, ladies. I appreciated the conversation. It was fun. It was informative, but we have to go to a break. We'll be right back.
We not trust some other party where we pies we drink. And if we not rate you, we not grow on your people. No, I mean no link. Cause we know if we load. If we can't buy a...
We're back. And, I'm kind of new to Canada, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't matter how long I've been here. I feel like my friend, my bestie, Shads, has a better grasp of what it's like to navigate Canadian spaces as it pertains to like politics and stuff like that. She's like a huge politics junkie. So I'm going to turn it over to Shads because she has a couple of questions that she wants to ask me. And Ali and Shauna. So Shads, your thing.
So I'm just here listening to all this conversation. I mean, I haven't really kept up with Jamaican politics that much ever since I left. And my knowledge of Jamaican politics is like 16 years old. So my memory of all of that is tainted by violence, not being able to drive through certain neighborhoods if I left my house. What else? Not being able, my house color was green, so I couldn't wear the color green. My house paint had to be taken off, and I was never affiliated with the JLP. My household was PNP, even though like my entire family were mixed, like we voted based on how we felt. So for me, like my knowledge is more on Canadian politics, and I don't know how familiar you ladies are with the Canadian side of things, but maybe Dougie might be able to chime in here and there. Like, how do you see Canadian politics in comparison to the Jamaican politics? Do you think it's like the same, or do you feel that it's different?
I think when it comes to Canadian politics and Jamaican politics, I like to think of Canadian politics being super modern. And by super modern, I feel like when it comes to like who you're going to vote for in the elections. Jamaicans are, when I was growing up in Jamaica, before I had the right to vote and before I moved abroad, it was a case where you didn't tell people who you're voting for. You didn't share your political affiliation if you were from an area that was a stronghold, and you weren't voting for that political party, or even just in public, because stating your political affiliation is actually putting your life at risk. Now, the difference I find with Canadian politics is that you walk around communities and neighborhoods, and everyone has these little signs that says, I'm conservative or I'm liberal. And I love that, because whether or not I care about who you're going to vote for in the upcoming elections, we have to live beside each other. There isn't necessarily a stronghold, and you have your own right, and I'm not going to question your right and say, well, the liberals did this or the conservatives did this, so I'm not gonna talk to you. I remember in Jamaica, people would say, yo, I can't speak to you during elections. Like, people would legitimately either unfriend me or block me during elections, because they felt like our political views were different, and we would not be able to have a friend-like conversation during election time. But here, it's totally different, and I love that kind of environment, political climate, actually.
Exactly, because like here I don't know if it's still true, you guys. Ali, Sean, okay, you guys could correct me, but is it just the two parties now, or is the NDM still alive?
Not really sure the NDM is still alive, but then we almost had the JPP, the Jamaica Progressive Party, yeah. But I guess they didn't contest this election. But I haven't heard anything about NDM for a while.
Okay, so see, that's how
Unim
old
JC, Unim
JPP,
JBC.
JPP.
Oh, I think of the
JPP,
old
yeah.
Jamaican TV station.
Not JBC, but I think it
What's
was
that?
I swear it was like a group of pastors, I think. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I can see how that would have failed. No shade to the pastors who are listening, but let's be honest. Yeah, I know here we have like 5 political parties. So we have the Liberals, we have Conservatives, we have the Green Party. Liberals and Conservatives, like, that's pretty self-explanatory if people are familiar with the US politics. It's like Republican, Democrat. And then we have the Green Party. They're surrounded by environmental issues. And then we have another party called the NDP, and they're the New Democratic. So they have more socialist views. And then there's Independent, and then there's another party that represents more specifically a province in Canada called Quebec. So they are called the Bloc Québécois. So they really only focus on Quebec and their needs. So no one really cares about them. So like here, I'm telling the truth. So it's not shade to Quebec.
I'm just here sipping my cider because I can't believe you said that.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If the day they ever win, that's just gonna be problematic. But it's definitely night and day. I see it where it's not like there's so many different options to choose from, even though people still bounce between the two as if we're a 2-party system and we're not. But you're able to still, like, if I were, for me, I'm moderate, so I don't have any party affiliate. I vote for whoever at the time I feel leaned more towards what I want. But I notice here, like, as Dougie had said earlier, like, you could have conversations with other people. Yes, there might be some little tats, but you can say who you support and not have to worry about, like, someone not talking to you ever again because this is who you support, or worrying about if someone's gonna, like, hurt you. I know you guys kind of touched on that earlier, but do you find that it's definitely different now in Jamaica where people could freely express who they support politically, or has that changed? I'll start with you, Shauna.
No, go ahead. Go again.
Do you feel that it's better now where, in comparison to with Canada, how people can actually express who they support politically and not have to worry about any animosity? Is it better now in Jamaica where if you support JLP and the other person is PMP, there's
Yeah,
no hate?
definitely. There's a difference, no, to be honest. You might still have people here and there where they might skin up them face or anything, but it way different now because you know have, oh, don't talk to me until elections finish. Don't do this, don't do that. No. So we're
That's-
moving to a better a better country right now.
Do you see that, Ali, in your area or just like your day to day?
We have COVID to worry about, so we don't have the time to have no political warfare. So,
True. I wonder
but
if it's
yes, there
because
has
like
been a
our
change.
generation. Do you think it's because of our
Maybe,
generation that's kind of there?
maybe, but I have a lot of friends that are laborites and are comrades, and we can sit down and have a civil discussion and drink and still be friends. Like with my labor friends, them taunt me, I'm gonna say like move from myself, but it's not like when I don't feel hurt, So it's more civil. We're kind of grown. Don't have the time for no, the hypocrisy and the hate and all of that.
Ali, why do you feel that there's like this huge difference? Because I know I wouldn't say that we're the most moral group of, let's say, well, generation per se. Why do you feel that we don't harbor the same kind of animosity that maybe 2 or 3 generations ago did, where the burning of the houses, the pulling people out of houses, the forcing people to vote, like the fear factor that was associated with elections in Jamaica? Because I know for like a lot of people, they weren't going to go outside on election day because it was almost like it was the purge, right? Why do you feel that this particular generation of people
But
we just do not care
actually, Aaron, it's the
about
same thing.
about
We have
it?
so many other things, bigger issues to deal with that way past the politics and the animosity. Like people have man problems and I take it serious and I
Are
try to
you
fix it.
are you calling it politics?
You say people have man problem for about
No, men are politics. Men are politics. Yeah, my problem.
No, it was
man
the man
problem.
No,
problem
I'm
for
I
just
me.
mean,
saying. It's like how election was last week Thursday, and then we vote and we move on. Like that's how it is. We have other things to deal with and take serious. Serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like JLP win, we move on. Like there's nothing to argue. Like,
mm,
what is there to argue about? You congratulate, we congratulate, and say, all right, next thing, I have to deal with this.
me think say because we're smarter still.
Well,
Like I win about
it
with the
took,
foolishness.
it took
Yeah,
our
definitely.
generation for things to finally be
Change.
calm. Let's be honest. We'll credit the millennials for this one because
Yep.
about time people put some respect on our names.
Ooh.
That's true.
But we're just going to go to a quick break and then we're going to ask one final question. And so we'll be back.
Yo. Bunting out and stunting. Kyle them tick like dumpling. Comrade gal them jumping. Action ready for the.
So we're back, and before we wrap things up and sleep on our green pillows and our orange pillows and whatever color pillow you want to sleep on tonight. I know my pillow's silk, it's black.
Mine is independent.
My pillow's a black pillow representing BLM, sorry. But I just had one final question for you ladies. So why do you believe the JLP won this election? And what do you think the PMP needs to do to possibly win the next time around? Ali, because your party did lose.
You never they have to do it. You never they have to do it, Chad.
What you say? What you say a while ago? But still have
I can't even tell you, Ali. I can't even tell you. Make sure you know say we'll fly up and deal with that thing. Yeah?
But I told you my party. Are you seeing PMPs?
But don't like look how I got done the whole podcast and don't be friends and friends who can't get me on and no more in podcast. Why you do it? Why you do it? Why you do it?
Because I love you, and we just the two of us on here that's PMP. You know, I have to try and stay as neutral as possible before.
You just say PMP, but you're neutral, my friend. Come on for the people in radio.
Black pillow, come on.
But yeah, no, like, why do you feel that JLP won this election, and what do you think PMP can do to possibly win the next time around?
Take all of the PMP ideas and run with it and go ahead. Anyways, I'm not saying that, but they have a younger leader that like in the know, like that's our Barack Obama kind of prime minister, you know, the current. But right now PMP just need to revamp their upcoming plans for the nation of 4.5 years or 5 years, so them have to come better, and they will come better. Tell you that.
Amen. Hallelujah. We'll see in the next 4 years. What's that? 2024. Yeah. And COVID won't be an excuse for people to not show up.
Or willing.
Shauna, why do you believe the JLP won this election, and do you think that the PMP stand a chance of winning in the next 4 years?
All right. So, why I think the JLP won? Really and truly, the younger generation just decided, okay, they have made some progress towards what they said they would have done. So give them a second chance, because really and truly, Jamaica Labour Party never really gets second chances. So right now we just have to say, okay, you do some of your work where you say you're going to do, we're going to give you a second chance to see if you can complete it or if you can finish up it, like whatever you add to your manifesto or whatever you add to your promises, make us see if you can keep your promises. Next thing is PNP, as long as them go back to the drawing board, unite, them will stand a chance, because really and truly, them always have some good ideas, you know. Them always have some good ideas. So, as Ali said, we take them ideas and run with it.
Just borrowing notes, just simple, just borrowing notes. Nothing wrong with that. Sharing is caring.
Yeah, and really and truly is maybe the first administration where never like say, sure, that's your PNP idea and bring a new one. We take them good idea and we work with it. And to me, if them work together, like even though them are separate parties, them work together, would that be a better country? But
100%. I believe in bipartisan. Like people, it would be nice if politicians would not worry about their party and worry about the country on a whole and try and appeal to everyone. Because then, especially in Jamaica, like our country is so like perfect in so many ways that like if they just fix that one part, most people will be coming back.
That's true.
So wait, on to the man from Manchester. Like what theme party did it say?
You mean
which man from Manchester? Who?
Shads, if you don't know the man from Manchester, we cannot tell you about him now. Okay, I think he got like 43 votes and he is demanding.
Yeah. You mean Rohan Chong?
What's his name? Yes, that guy.
Lord Jesus.
I think he got like 43 votes and he says he is demanding. It's how much?
67 him get like more fight them
That's a
67
lot.
people there.
Why that's what democracy is about. Imagine everybody was laughing at this man. He got 67 votes, right?
And then
67
him find
people decided
himself
to go down. And
him
then
find
what?
himself the parish court, but he want magisterial recount. Look at
Of
him.
course, it's his right. It's his right. He thought he had it in the bag, and it's his right.
Oh my
Um,
god.
Francois, what's your? I'm so rude, but I mean, I don't know. Do you care about Jamaican politics that much? How do
of
you? What do you
course, you
think?
know what?
What do
You
you
know what?
think?
What do I think? Why I think that the JLP won the elections. I felt like millennials went out and they saw what the current party was doing or the current administration, and they wanted to continue. When I spoke to a lot of people in Jamaica, they were like, you know what, I'm going to cast my vote for the JLP because I like what they're doing. A lot of people who are young, never in so long that you have so many young entrepreneurs. We've seen so many young entrepreneurs in Jamaica, and Jamaicans are super motivated now. They're super intelligent, and they're
We've
not
always been intelligent and motivated. Why trying to style the people them?
I'm not styling us, but I'm saying that I feel like this generation is so motivated and intelligent that they're not allowing like political indoctrination to steer them to the polling stations anymore, but they're using their own mindset to go ahead and cast their ballots, which is important. You send your children to school to be more intelligent than you are. So if you were making the wrong decisions for 30 years or 40 years or 50 years, regardless of how many years, your children are supposed to be there to change that. And I love that millennials were able to go out and vote and change that for 2020. For the PNP, again, as
He's a
Shauna and Ali
sellout.
alluded to, they have good ideas. It's not that they don't have good ideas. I feel leadership is a huge thing in the PNP. Sorry, friend.
You are a sellout.
Who, me? Who's that,
Yes.
Shauna?
No.
Who, Ali?
Yes, I'm deleting number
I
right
me's a
now.
proper labourite, you know. I'm not even a joke. Me's a proper labourite.
Problem time.
But I'm not going to lie
I
though.
don't like
I feel like with the PNP, and I've seen this for so long. You say I gotta delete me? Fam, you know how long you know me, you can't delete me
You know
now.
it from long time.
I'm like a cousin.
We don't delete or block friends because of their political affiliation. I mean, I support Donald Trump, and I don't see people.
You know what? This is not the time and place. I'm gonna just finish my thought, please. But the PNP has good ideas. I feel like the problem was party leadership, and I think it's always been party leadership. And I think since PJ Patterson and Portia Simpson Miller, the leadership of the party has not been the same. And I feel like there is a need for new blood with new ideas. And I've seen so many people coming up trying to. Crystal was one of those people that was trying to do it, but again, she was new. The people didn't necessarily know her, didn't know what she was about, and while her ideas were probably good, Jamaicans don't jump and vote for somebody if they don't know them, and if they're going through a hard time in a particular area and the work isn't being done, they're probably not going to vote for in the next election. So for the PNP, new people, fresh blood, new ideas, right? And honestly, for people who are comrades, and even labor rights, hold your members of parliament accountable. If they said they're going to do
Yes, that's
something,
true.
hold them to their word and let them know that it's a no vote in the next elections if you cannot fulfill your promises. That's it for me, to be honest.
Quick 2 cents. If it weren't for COVID, JLP would not have won.
You're so bitter. You're so very bitter. You're so like the tree liquor pizza.
Turned out, and if you consider it a landslide, stop it.
Farms, let us talk about the voting thing in Jamaica, because it's a long time 50% of Jamaica don't even vote. Okay, this was the second lowest, I think, in comparison to I think in 2016 it was like 48 or 47 point something, and for this election it was like 30 something. So it was like an 11% decline, to be honest. So Jamaicans don't really vote. Like them just go up on the motorcade and take a little money and eat a little food. Like, they're not going to
No,
vote.
no, you're right. You're right, because let me tell you the truth. They have a lane which I live, and for the whole week, them have a green shirt. And you see the day a election before me leave out, me see some of them in a orange where did already have on green because them a get little money. Eh?
Talk the truth. So they're still giving people money to vote. They're still bribing.
Them not bribe your friend. They want make you eat a food so you know what the party going to do for you when them win the election. They might just say, here's what, it's like a preview, like, we not have the like Netflix and them thing, them get like a previews or preview.
I kind of wish that they did that here in Canada. It would be nice if the MPPs will drive around and just like run me a bills and and some food.
Bills?
I'm just saying.
Bills, fam? The way you just want a bills?
I just need some boardings. Make it five boardings.
Just tell them for detail your car and done. Like me would are good with that. If you could detail my vehicle for elections, we're good. Okay? Because I can't pay for that. But guys, women, sorry, trying to be politically correct after that episode about protecting Black women. I find that this particular episode and this conversation was actually quite informative. It was fun. I know people don't like to discuss politics because politics usually cause people to not be friends anymore. People get blocked and deleted, and people go into their feelings. But I love that we were able to have a conversation. Two of the women on the panel, Ali and Shauna K, have never met each other, but they were able to have a civil conversation, which just shows what Jamaican politics is made of and where it is currently in 2020. So, I'm glad that we were able to get into final thoughts, and I want to say thank you to Shauna K for coming on and sharing your views and sharing your thoughts and your experiences. And I want to say, Ali, big up yourself, and thank you for coming on every time we ask you to, and for being real and for sharing your experiences about life in Jamaica. And feel free anytime, Shazalisio, just fly up. You see it.
Sorry, wait to lie upon me. Stop telling lies on me.
I'm sorry, Shads. But again, in closing, it's been real and it's been a fun conversation. So until next time, walk good.